Welcome to the European International Championships. Trainers from across the globe are coming together, catching up, trading their prize cards, leveling up Pokemon, and diving into exhilarating side events. But let's not forget the main attraction, the fierce and thrilling battles. The finest competitors from across the globe are here, each aspiring to etch their name in history as a Pokemon International Champion. The stage is set, excitement fills the air, and history is unfolding right before our eyes. Since 2017, the International Championships have served as a global arena where the world's best competitors converge, showcasing the ultimate in Pokemon match play. This weekend, we're all part of that same story. Get ready to see amazing skills and strong will in the upcoming Pokemon battles. Last year at the Excel in London, a beloved favorite from France left his mark in the world of Pokemon Go.
This win means a lot for me, for representing France into international, because until now there is 0 French player qualified for World.
Blast burn on a low health Stunfisk for the 3-0 sweep.
Over on the VG stage,
This is it! The battle is over and Paul Chua becomes your 2023 European International Champion!
Being able to finally get past second place feels pretty good.
last season, Talibobo believers etched their name in history as the inaugural winners of Unite at EUIC, proudly claiming the EU AOS Cup title.
In the end, we just pulled through and we were all so happy. It means the world to us.
This season, the AOS Cup is welcoming competitors from all regions. Hailing from the USA, Alex Szymanski made an impact in Pokemon TCG, triumphing over Tord Reklev and winning the EUIC Champion Trophy.
I never really doubted my strategy this weekend, just expected things to happen that happened, and it worked out for me.
Who emerges victorious in this clash of trainers is a thrilling uncertainty, as each competes with determination and skill, aiming to rise up and seize the title of International Champion.
Stomping Tantrum in response, doesn't need much, takes down the Flutter as it does get caught with the freeze drive. Risk 2-0. Ready away.
Oh, wow, straight away.
Does he get to it in time? Yes, he does, because it's huge.
Can they get some of these points in? They get it! That goes in!
To avoid hard-hitting fast. What I love is that Lickitung is consistent.
America, of course, Hard Jeffy won that, and that
Move Body Slam, which we are all familiar with. But that Rock Slide
in flavor that I was talking about. Talonflame has been so strong. Specifically, a lot of teams are
earlier. Getting access to Dig and the update to Aerial
is a new Pokemon in this new season of this month. We have our April update. It is the Registeel
UIC 2023 with the Shadow Dragonair. I remember last year that was so fun.
From North America, of course. It is going to be Doonbug in #1, a 2-time regional champion this season. I think probably the best.
320 battlers as we see. It's Axen, the previous world champion, nighttime class.
And as a North American and defeated all of the Europeans, and he's going to try to do it again in the biggest Pokemon Go competition ever. But of course,
has come here. And as we can see, Tauntaun Patus, Paul Asha, Powderman, all of these trainers. I remember specifically Powderman able to win with the Charmeleon and Ninetales and finally get that regional win. That was incredible to watch.
Yeah, Paul Asha's been absolutely on fire since last EUIC as well. Of course, the special
team trainers from there, Ellen Diaz, Rargev, Andrew, Zardy.
400 for that region, so a lot of them have qualified. Been caster predictions, and I don't know if any of these are going to be meta. I'm going to focus on my first pick because I think this has the Dedenne, also has that Goodra that I have on my team.
It's going to be the Iron Hands giveaway. If you guys see the code there on screen, fake out EUIC, you guys can redeem that for Iron Hands. We also have Raging Bolt as a giveaway as well with the code coming on the screen. Burst Roar EUIC 24. That is a great thing to pick up if you just love Pokemon in general.
Yeah, and I love this next Twitch drop for Pokemon Go. We have
Game. Who is taking home the title of the European International Champion? Who will be joining us on the roads to Worlds 2024 in Honolulu? Stay tuned to find out and enjoy the show.
one usage. We have the meta breakdown, and oh, it's finally going to happen.
Yeah, here we have on the left from the United States.
Curious to see how Mish makes it work.
It has interesting coverage, right? You have the Aqua Tail and the Power Whip, as we see that Mish is running here. It also has access to Sludge Wave and Draco Meteor, but Mish is going for that more coverage here on the Goodra. We see Night Slash on Annihilate from Janako on the right. I'm curious what he is running. I believe, yeah, he has that Whiscash, and he has a Cresselia with Moonblast here, Leo.
Yeah, Moonblast is... You need an answer to Guzzlord on every team. And even though Janako is stacked against Guzzlord, you know, Annihilate is going to have to give you a shield back, but we're going right into game one. Mish versus Janako, and we have the Shadow Gligar versus Whiscash, which is not as bad as it seems.
Yeah, this is actually more neutral than you think. If you have a decent Gligar, the Scald won't knock you out, even with the Mudshots. Janako not going for the Scald before the Ground-type Charge Sack Dig is thrown here. And that means that this won't even be debuff potentially. So Dig goes through and does a huge chunk on this Whiscash.
Oh, and that changes the matchup quite a bit, because I think now that the aerial ace that will be on the charge attack priority with the next Scald has a good chance of knocking out the Whiscash.
Give it debuff, let's see! And yes, there is a debuff on this Gligar. And now, not going for the charge attack priority, Janako counting the wing attacks from this Gligar perfectly, and now putting up the shields against this aerial ace.
Oh, Janako, you're putting a lot of pressure on this Whiscash, because now you have to farm up a lot of energy. Oh, we're just going to throw one more Machop to make sure we're outpacing the next Pokemon that Mish is going to bring in here. But Mish has the shield advantage, says, hey, Gligar, you have done enough. That was a good job. You can go back to your Pokeball.
Now going into the Annihilate, going to counter down this Whiscash, but taking a Scald in the process. This is quite uncomfortable, because your Annihilate might be debuff for the next matchup. Again, Leo, it's a 50% chance. Let's see if he gets a debuff here.
Oh, and we're not going to see 2 for 2 here. No, we're going to go Gligar into the Annihilate. We're going to throw a Shadow Ball. Janako's already out, down to 1 shield. Is he going to shield this? Is he calling a bait? He's not going to shield this!
Oh my! That's it's so hard! It does so much damage! And now Cresselia comes in to take all this damage from this Gligar. I really like the swap from Janako here, because he has that Gligar and the Cresselia to counter the Annihilate. But Mish had so much energy to throw a Shadow Ball into this Gligar, and to put it so low here.
Yeah, and there's no hard answer for the Gligar on Mish's team, because she has the Feraligatr, which wins the matchup typically. But if you switch Feraligatr into the Shadow Gligar, it's not as good anymore.
Yeah, because you're one wing tech, you're one Shadow Claw down, and then Gligar just outpaces. Indeed, a very clever note there you have, Leo. But in comes the Cresselia from Janako. This Cresselia does have Moonblast, which hits a little bit harder, but I still think you need 2 Grass Knot from Janako's side to KO the shiny Cresselia from Mish.
Oh, yeah. Special attention to the shiny Cresselia right here. Looking good. The Grass Knot is connecting. Let's see when Janako is going to throw right before Mish gets to the next Grass Knot. The thing is, I don't think it will knock out, but you have a chance of getting a debuff here.
Yeah, I think 2 Grass Knot may have been a little bit more efficient, but indeed trying to get a debuff there maybe, and going for the Grass Knot right before Janako reaches his Grass Knot. So now, do you decide to shield here? No, not decide to shield here. And it makes sense, because the Annihilate has super effective Night Slash and Shadow Ball, so you kind of want to be prepared for that.
I also like that Janako just kept this Whiscash for a potential sacrificial swap, trying to swap it in there, use it as another shield for the Cresselia, but you're taking so much damage on that Cresselia. Unfortunately for me, she doesn't have a lot of fast attack pressure. Counters are resisted, Psycho Cuts are resisted and deal no damage anyways. Now we're going to see the Cresselia being knocked out. We keep the last shield for the Annihilate.
Yeah, at this point, can you counter down this Cresselia? Psycho Cuts don't add up a lot, but they are super effective. In comes a Grass Knot bait. Does Mish shield this? This won't KO yet, but it will put the Annihilate very low. And oh, she no-shields this, Leo. That's a huge play.
She no-shields it, but now you're under so much pressure, because the Psycho Cut against Annihilate actually do add up. We're going for a Night Slash right here. It is going to be shielded. This is a race.
Does she get the boost?
Mish. Oh, is that a boost?
It's possible. It's possible. Oh, we see no boost, and I think that was her win con, because then you may have counted deep down the Cresselia, but she didn't, and Janako gets game number 1 hit, covering the Annihilate as hard as he could, right? So yeah, and that just worked out very well, because Mish didn't bring the Annihilate. Now, if you bring the Goodra here as Mish, the 2 Pokemon you really need to be careful of are the Cresselia. Oh, we have the replay here, by the way. We have the Night Slash on the Cresselia, and unfortunately, we had no boost there. The boost was her win con here on that to take out the Cresselia there.
And there you absolutely see, if she shielded that Grass Knot, there would have been another one, and even a Moonblast game. And we're going to see a lead of Goodra versus Cresselia. Said it earlier, you have to be aware of the Moonblast that is on it. Let's see how Mish plays this matchup out. We're going to go for a Grass Knot bait on the side of Janako. Is Mish so afraid of this that she's going to shield this?
She does shield it! That's a Grass Knot bait! That's resisted! That would have been resisted, would have not done a lot of damage at all. Going for an Aqua Tail bait here from Mish. Aqua Tail has been boosted since last season, but it doesn't do that much damage on Cresselia, and Janako just lets that comfortably go.
That is true, but the Dragon Breath do add up so much. We're trying to go for a catch. We are not at the Moonblast already, and now there is Annihilate on the Registeel. This is a catastrophe for Mish right now, because this Annihilate is going to counter through it, and you are already at a shield advantage. You're going to let this Zap Cannon go.
Yeah, this does a lot of damage, puts the Annihilate almost into the red, and it has a chance of debuffing, which it does. The attack is dropped off the Annihilate, and now you have to go for a full Shadow Ball here as Janako. And what's also troublesome, the Annihilate even has energy left to take care of the Goodra.
Yeah. That is true, but there is one Pokemon in the back of which we actually get 2 more counters in. That is used because of the debuff. So actually, lucky for Janako, right?
Yeah, but very painful for Mish because it's almost at a Shadow Ball. You kind of have to throw your Aqua Tail immediately here. And going right before the Shadow Ball. Excellent counting from Mish here on the left side.
Fantastic. She is living up to the pressure right now. We're knocking out the Annihilate, so no energy left from that matchup. But there's still this huge shield advantage for Janako, and you are going to get Moonblasted. You can't really use another shield because then you're down 0 to 2 shields with the Feraligatr. You have to put it all on the Gator right here.
Goodra hung on. It also got a debuff, by the way. Now going for the super effective Grass Knot. Feraligatr is a fragile Pokemon, so Mish does decide to shield up. But this is very rough because there's a Registeel in the back, which has access to Zap Cannon, which is also super effective.
Yeah, Mish just had to hope right here that this is the Gligar in the back, or maybe the Whiscash that you outpace and can deal with this matchup. But there is 2 shields on Janako's side, and we're getting closer and closer to the Zap Cannon, and Feraligatr is not the bulkiest Pokemon despite being a really big Gator. Zap Cannon is not going to come out yet. Janako trying to go for the 2-shield flex right here, but Feraligatr just paces so fast.
Yeah, that's not possible. These Hydro Cannon damage is way too much. You gotta shield that. But this Zap Cannon is now coming through. It's going to deal a tremendous amount of damage to this Feraligatr. In comes the Zap Cannon, and it knocks out the Feraligatr.
Feraligatr is going to get KO'd here, and then we're lock-oning down the Goodra, and that is a 2-0 swift victory by Janako, who is celebrating this, looking into the crowd.
Yeah, Janako are watching the stream here. As you can see here, you can get the Team Deadland. He actually shielded the Brick Ray, thinking it was a Rock Slide. Anyway, that's enough about me and Colin. Let's take a look here. Like I said, Cresselia is what he has on his team, and it also has Moonblast here, right? We saw Future Sight from
damage, but I think that the players are going to be ready, and we're seeing a Cresselia versus Shadow Gligar lead.
Wow, this is a very neutral matchup here, Leo. The Cresselia does have a slightly better matchup just because of its sheer bulk. Going for the Moonblast here. Moonblast helps in the 0 shield scenario here because you need a Moonblast and a Grass Knot to knock out the Gligar. It goes unshielded, and Burst of Prey takes the Moonblast on the Gligar.
Oh, and that deals about 50% added up with those Psycho Cuts. But if you're looking closely at the teams, there's an Azumarill for Birds of Prey in the back, and Mr. McCalvin is going very, very weak to it.
Yeah, I think he has to bait out the Azumarill at some point. I'm curious if he is going to switch out at some point. Yes, trying to get... Oh my goodness, the catch on the dig here!
Mr. McCalvin is going for it, and he has not used his shield yet. So the matchup versus Azumarill is still not that bad. Dig still deals an okay chunk of damage.
I don't know, Leo. Didn't do as much as Burst of Prey was hoping for, I think. But he does draw out the Azumarill. That's exactly what he's looking for. Cleaning up the Azumarill with the Cresselia, and then have Mandibuzz roam free in the back and still have energy on the Cresselia. That's what really helps. But Burst of Prey can get a lot of energy here and throwing right before the next aerial ace.
Oh, and we're going to go unshielded right here. Mr. McCalvin says, hey, I dealt 50% to this Azumarill. Let me get my Cresselia back in. Cresselia avoids a possible Mandibuzz and counter, and I get to get rid of this Azumarill. If it goes unshielded, Grass Knot is going to deal a hefty amount of damage here.
Yeah, but it barely doesn't knock out here. And Azumarill has so much HP as well. It's going to get to this player quite comfortably. And I think, Mr. McCalvin, what do you do here? Yeah, you're going to shield this up. Probably get a lot of energy here on that Azumarill, but I think Burst of Prey might just switch out if possible, because she is not weak to this Cresselia at all, right? There's the Mandibuzz and the Gligar in the back. No, going to get this huge farm down and 100 energy now. Mr. McCalvin on the Cresselia. And let's see what Burst of Prey brings in here. Yes, you have the Mandibuzz, but there's also Moonblast, and Mr. McCalvin waits to see what comes in. This is super effective, Leo.
Yeah, this is going to deal a lot of damage if it goes unshielded, but it is still shielded. Now let's see if this is going to get a debuff or not. It doesn't. We're charging up to yet another Moonblast, and I think this is going to be shielded again. Possibly what could be in the back for Mr. McKelvin that would deal more damage than a Moonblast on the Mandibus for Birds of Prey. She lets it go.
Yeah, super effective damage, and it does a nice chunk. Now in comes Mr. McKelvin's own Mandibus here. Aerial Ace is going to do so little damage here because these two birds are so tanky, Leo.
Yeah, and Aerial Ace is not the highest damaging attack. We don't have high attack on the Mandibus as well, and now this is going to play out. This is sometimes dependent which of the Pokemon is just a little bit bulkier, but now that this Moonblast chip was applied onto the Mandibus of Birds of Prey, Mr. McKelvin, of course, has a huge advantage in the mirror match.
Yeah, I really like the play of Mr. McKelvin here, because he's managing his energy so well. It's difficult for Birds of Prey to swap in the Gligar, but now going into the Gligar anyway, look, because he already has so much energy, he can now get to the Dark Pulse quite comfortably. And look at the counting here, Leo, perfectly right before the Aerial Ace. This Dark Pulse will knock out if unshielded, but Birds of Prey does put up the Protect Shield here.
And I do like the play of Birds of Prey using this shield right here, because now you get to actually throw an Aerial Ace. This will go shielded. You get to apply a little bit more wing attack damage, and you force your opponent to throw against the Gligar as well. So your Mandibus is freed a little bit from this. And Mr. McKelvin is counting perfectly again, throwing at suboptimal timing in terms of fast attacks. But this is perfect in terms of energy, throwing the Aerial Ace to knock out the Shadow Gligar.
Yeah, barely knocks out. Aerial Ace not the strongest charge attack in terms of damage, but it was just barely enough here. Aerial Ace coming through. I think 2 Aerial Ace will be enough here, Leo.
Oh, this might be with the extremely huge Snarl chip as well. This might actually get close, but there is also the Cresselia in the back for a potential catch or a potential farm down if we go really low HP.
Yeah, and this might be valuable information for Mr. McKelvin, because now you know that you win charge attack purity against the Mandibus from Birds of Prey. Going for the Aerial Ace on charge attack purity again, which Mr. McKelvin wins once again, and I believe this Aerial Ace will knock out the Mandibus from Birds of Prey.
Birds of Prey is just now thinking, hey, I should have made the call to shield the Moonblast, because this is what cost her the game in the end. Mr. McKelvin wins the first game in a very thrilling matchup in the end.
Yeah, this was such good play from Mr. McKelvin. It actually was looking
at execution right here.
Yeah,
and if he caught the Zumrul, oh, there we go. The Aerial Ace knockout on the Mandibus, absolutely crucially. As you can see, there is quite
the Gligar mirror matchup from both players here. Gligar on the field, and this might come down again to who wins charge attack priority. But I can't really tell, Leo, because both Gligar are also the same CP.
Oh, that is huge right here. But we will figure out later, because Mr. McKelvin is over-farming heavily here through 7 wing attacks. Now Birds of Prey through after 6. We're at half HP. This is a very quick mirror match as opposed to the catch.
Another catch on the Aerial Ace on this Mandibus. This is neutral, but it's... I mean, the Mandibus can take it very well here. Going into the Vigoroth, Mr. McKelvin, that's his best answer right now. But I think Mr. McKelvin is very happy here, because now his Cresselia won't be aligned to this Mandibus later.
Yeah, and the Dark Pulse is immediately thrown right here against the Vigoroth. This is a decent neutral matchup, as you said, but you have this Rock Slide that is going to deal such a huge amount of damage against the Mandibus.
Yeah, I don't think this will knock out yet, but it will definitely put the Mandibus very low. However, I think Mr. McKelvin is just fine there. You still live a Dark Pulse from here, and you might be able to counter down this entire Mandibus.
Yeah, and then you're almost at 2 Body Slam. That is absolutely huge. We're going to see another Dark Pulse. It's going to be very close, though, so the Snarls also do add up. Let's see how this is going to turn out. I think that Vigoroth has the advantage here. Oh, big.
Ooh, barely farms down this Mandibus. I think one more Snarl would have knocked out. You have so much energy here, but I think 1 wing attack and 1 bubble will knock out, so you only get to throw 1 charge attack here. What are you throwing as Mr. McKelvin? Going for the Rock Slide. I love this play. Yeah. You know why? This does about 2 more damage in the Body Slam. It's less efficient, but it does more damage if you only get to 1 charge attack.
Exactly. That was the correct play by Mr. McKelvin. It is inadequate approved, and now we're going back into the Shadow Gligar. Shadow Gligar and the other Shadow Gligar are pacing at the same time. Mr. McKelvin with the charge attack priority, and that is huge.
Yeah, this is so massive, because now I think you can let this Gligar go. This is so huge. This just shows that it sometimes pays off to have a higher attack here as right in these kind of mirror matchups. This is wonderful for Mr. McKelvin. Now going to try and sweep with his Cresselia. Knowing there is a Zumrul in the back, you now might be able to sweep it.
I think Birds of Prey could have undercharged right there, because they were both energy dry after the Aerial Ace.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a fair point there, Leo, but she did it now. She still has some energy here. Looks like Mr. McCalvin is putting up a shield just in case that was the ground type charge stack. But yeah, charge stack priority here. This Moonblast will knock out the Gligar if unshielded.
Okay, we are going to shield this. I thought that maybe you could sneak in 1 or 2 more Psycho Cuts after this, but we're going to see another wing attack. Raise Dig is going to be thrown just before we reach the Moonblast, and we're going to shield this up. Mr. McCalvin is really protective of his Cresselia.
Yeah, wanting to preserve the HP on this Cresselia, also realizing this probably does more damage than anything the Azumarill can throw here. Going for the Moonblast, I think a Grass Knot may have been enough here, but Mr. McCalvin just making sure, if this is a really good Gligar, since I want charge stack priority, it might barely live the Grass Knot, and I don't want to take that risk. Now, Cresselia does have a really strong matchup against this Azumarill, but I'm not sure if 2 Grasses will knock out the Azumarill, and I'm pretty sure that 2 Ice Beam will.
There is a lot of chip on the Azumarill though, so we're going to see how much damage to this Grass Knot. This is surprisingly low amount of damage, and look at these Psycho Cuts. They don't deal anything basically.
Leo, these Pokemon are too bulky. They just don't deal that much damage with super effective charge stacks sometimes. This Ice Beam won't do as much as well, but the Bubbles and the next Ice Beam will knock out. So this is going to be a race. Can you get to the Ice Beam as Birds of Prey here? The Grass Knot is coming through. Oh man, this is going to get so close, Leo. Is it going to knock out?
Oh, I don't think this will knock out, but are the Psycho Cuts going to knock out after this? This is very, very close.
Goodness.
I think that Mr. McCalvin has the advantage here. Going for a few. Oh,
the
wow.
knockout. Wow, what a close game there. Mr. McCalvin takes game number 2.
Wow, another 2.
Of Birds of Prey versus Mr. McCalvin. We see here that Grass Knot coming through on the Azumarill, which wasn't enough to knock out.
Boom!
But the Psycho Cuts after where?
Yeah, I want to say fewer,
I believe, and I'm very excited to see that. This is where the fun begins, Steve.
See, this is the first I've ever been to. Are amazing. There's Guzma!
Ready to go 0-3 drop
on the shoulder.
Yeah, and here we see Jack White. There at the team, we have Foam Salt on the left. We see indeed that Shadow Dragon Whiscash there with, like, you know, the Dragonite. Yeah. Let's take a look here at the team from Kazim. No, indeed, Dugong is stuff there. But we see here, we have Gligar into Annihilape. This is a great lead for Kazim. A terrible one for Salt. I expect to switch here.
A very cheeky advantage that Kazim has here. Gets, wow, 2 wing attacks in, and Salt did not expect the Guzzlord in the back.
Yeah, in comes Big Chomper, about to eat fish today. It's on Lantern, Shiny Lantern in fact, and it's Thunderbolt. Everything that Lantern has here is resisted, so Guzzlord has an incredible matchup here. Going for the crunch, I think if you get a debuff here, you can easily just Dragon Tail down this Lantern.
Yeah, there is a reason why Guzzlord is called Schlinking in German,
really?
Which it basically translates into the king of feasting.
I'm not surprised. Look at this thing go. It's eating and eating. Lantern is almost down here as it goes for another Thunderbolt. This will drop the Guzzlord quite low, but the Guzzlord also has so much energy. I believe it can... I love this play from Kazim, right? Letting some sparks through so the Annihilape gets less energy to fight back against the Gligar, right? I love this play. You probably only get 1 charge stack off here, as 1 counter might knock out this Guzzlord already.
And you're very safe to throw a crunch if you're looking at the team of your opponent. There is no resistance to Dark type whatsoever, so you're going to deal a hefty amount of damage. Are we going to see the 30% defense drop? We don't. Oh, far down!
In comes Dragonite, and it's time for some Dragonite action. In comes Lickitung. It's 1 lick behind, however, and this comes down to debate. If you can land a superpower here, you knock out the Lickitung. But I would think that Kazim will shield here just to get all the lick damage in against Dragonite.
Yeah, and I think that you don't really, if Lickitung shields everything, you don't get to a superpower right here because you only have 1 Dragon Breath advantage. We're going for the superpower. Is this going to be shielded by Kazim?
Oh man. Oh, putting up the shield at the very last time. What a genius shield here from Kazim.
Just quickly calculating how this matchup works. We're going to see another superpower. Body Slam wasn't thrown yet. Are we going to see another shield? And no, we're letting it go. The superpower connects. This is a Dragon Day. No, it's a Dragon Knight right here. Now we're going to get a big farm down with 4 wing attack. That is so much energy on the Gligar.
Yeah, Lickitung went down, but I don't think that Kazim might, because this Gligar now is at 2 Aerial Ace, and 1 Aerial Ace will definitely be enough here to knock out the Annihilape. Is Salt going to shield this? Yes, going to shield this, hoping to catch Kazim off guard maybe, but there's another Aerial Ace loaded, and it will go through here.
GG Kazim with the Guzzlord. Basically destroying the Lantern in the matchup. Sparks, I don't care. Surf, I don't care. Thunderbolt, I couldn't care less. We're Dragon Tailing.
Kazim can basically pivot it every single time. Let's take a look at the replay here. We see the superpower launch from Salt, and if this went unshielded, would have knocked out the Lickitung right there, but Kazim basically shielded at the very last second. And superpower also drops your attack and defense, so that made it easier to knock out.
And we have the knockout aerial ace right here. Kazim taking a deep breath and celebrating.
We are going to have the Lickitung into the Skarmory.
Oh, and that is actually a decent matchup for the Lickitung as well. You would think that those very resistant charge attacks make this matchup terrible, but Licks are so good and you're so bulky.
Yeah, Lickitung actually doesn't do, as you say, terrible here. Especially if Skarmory goes for a Brave Bird, the Licks will add up way more here. But I think that Salt is very fine with his Skarmory here somewhat, because he has the Gligar in the back. And if you look at the backlines, Gligar might be key to winning this matchup. In comes the attack. And it looks like Salt is no-shooting immediately, realizing I can take a Brave Bird easily here, so I no-shoot this.
Yep, that is very well played. Knowing your matchup, Salt, I see. We're going for another body slam, and we're also already putting the Skarmory into the red, so you see how not really dominant this matchup is for Skarmory, even though you can kind of control the switch, and you already have a charge attack. We're going for the Brave Bird, and I like that.
This will do so much. Are you ready, Leo? Are you ready? Here we go. Brave Bird's coming in. Boom! Takes out the Lickitung, and in comes the Gligar and swaps in the Lantern immediately, but Lantern doesn't really have that great of a matchup, especially when it's one wing attack behind. But going for the Surf immediately to catch up here.
Yeah, Surf is going to deal about 60%, but the sparks don't really add up, especially if it's shielded, it doesn't deal 60%. So we're going to be really in an advantageous position in this matchup with the Shadow Gligar. We are farming up to almost 2 digs. 1 dig is going to be thrown here. Kazim is considering to no-shield this.
Oh, last second shield from Kazim. Yeah, again, deciding at the very last second. He's thinking it's time for the shield for sure. We see there Kazim waiting a turn before throwing the Surf, making sure Salt doesn't catch this on something else. But Salt is like probably very happy to see the Lantern in the first place, because the Dewgong in the back is so dangerous. Going for another dig here. If Kazim shields this, Salt is in a very tough spot, right?
That is true. And we're going to shield last second again. Kazim is making it interesting for us. Thank you so much.
Keeping us on our toes. And oh, look, oh my goodness, did you see that? He was waiting a turn, Salt waited a turn, but Kazim was waiting longer, and now going for the Thunderbolt on the Dewgong. What a magnificent, patient play from Kazim here.
That was absolutely phenomenal. Kazim, he's really him right here. And we're going to see a drill run on the Dewgong right here. Dewgong can fight back against the Lantern. However, it is not the best matchup.
It doesn't even knock out Leo. This Lantern will just get to another Thunderbolt here if it wants to. And it's actually just sparking down the Dewgong instead. Now has a charge tank. But oh, go for the catch. What is going on here? He has a family.
Kazim is already laughing. He's like, I don't know where that came from. I'm just playing the best Pokemon Go of my entire life. This is going so well for him. Son has no shields left. Everything hangs on to this Gligar, and I don't want to spread bad news, but this Lickitung is definitely going to win this matchup here.
Yeah, Kazim is playing out of his mind here, Leo.
Wow.
He is from the UK, and he wants to keep the championship in the UK. He has his first battle here on stream. It's going phenomenal here. The Power Whip is coming through, and this will lead Kazim into a 2-0 victory.
That was absolute peak Pokemon.
The replay that we saw from these crazy plays that we saw here. We see here game number 1. We saw the Lickitung into the Dragonite, shooting the first superpower but letting the next one go.
Yep, that is absolutely great call. Also, Kazim knew, hey, this is going to knock off the Lickitung, but I don't care. And we're going to see the Aerial Ace knockout here from game number 1. Kazim already celebrating, not knowing that he will achieve greatness in game 2 already.
Yeah, the game 1 played out pretty naturally, right? I think that Salt was unprepared for the Lickitung that we see here, and we see here the Brave Bird thrown from Kazim, which knocked out the Lickitung here. Tremendous damage on such a bulky Pokemon. And then in the next moment here, we see indeed the Gligar into the Lantern, and we see Kazim being patient as ever. Look at that, Salt waiting just barely, Kazim nodding to the crowd, to his friends, and then closing out the game just barely. Look at him looking at his phone there. Can I farm this down? Then catches the Area Ace. Phenomenal, absolutely. He's just laughing. He's like, I don't know what I'm doing even, man. I don't know how I played as well.
Martin, I wish I was this cool. I wish I was.
You're pretty cool. You're pretty cool. But we're talking about good here.
That was phenomenal gameplay. Kazim just steamrolling through this. And